Academy graduate has done it. And despite Keith Simpson trying his endeavour best to make it interesting in the last 2 minutes, Waterhouse were held back by Mount Pleasant over the course of the night and on the tie. 2-1 on the night, 3-2 on...
Style-approved retirement scheme. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
In the 2001 semis, Waterhouse had gotten the better of Mount Pleasant on aggregate by 2-1.
Coming up in CVM News at 7. Brothers fatally shot in Frome, Westmoreland. Churches march for peace in Grange Hill. And new and improved night shelter for Portland. While in sports, Mount Pleasant advances to JPL finals. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7, the weekend edition. It's Sunday, May 12, 2024. I'm TK Dawkins. Thanks so much for joining us. The Frome police in the parish of Westmoreland have commenced a probe into the shooting death of two brothers while at a family shop in the community on Saturday night. The men have been identified as Damian Powell, otherwise called Donkey Knee, and Colin Daly, otherwise called Gary, both of Dan Head in Burnt Savannah, Westmoreland. Reports are that about 8:45 p.m., both men were among other family members at a shop outside their gate when they were set upon by armed men traveling on motorbikes. The men opened fire, hitting the siblings before making their escape on the motorcycles. The wounded brothers were rushed to the Savannah Lamar Hospital where they were pronounced dead. This incident follows on the heels of another shooting in a section of the community known as Clarkland, where 3 men were shot and injured on Friday night. Amid the recent reports of violence in Grange Hill, Westmoreland, some churches came together to march for peace on Sunday in the community. The community members are encouraged by the effort. Trisha Gay Kelly tells us more.
Different denominations, but one mission. Some church members in Westmoreland visited the Grange Hill community on Sunday to march against the recent upsurge of crime and violence in the parish, specifically in that community. One resident told our news team he's unsure the march will help the situation, but he's grateful for the church's efforts. While lauding their performance, he mentioned the police officers' work. The march was a joint effort among various churches in the parish. Pastor of the Grange Hill district of Seventh-day Adventist Churches, Javane Billings, says the march is a statement to the community.
As Christian, we cannot watch as things happen and we act as if we are not a part of the solution. And so the Grange Hill District of Church, we believe that just making a statement in a time like this is very important. So we are having a peace march in Grange Hill today, making a statement to the world that we see what's happening and we are standing against it.
Westmoreland is the second leading parish in crime since the start of the year, with 39 murders. The parish has seen an approximate 22% increase in violence when compared to this period last year. People's National Party Vice President Ian Hales says things are not looking good for the parish.
It's sad to say, but we're losing 1 to 2 citizens in Grange Hill weekly. And it's not elderly citizens we are losing. We're using young people. We are losing young people to the gun in Grange Hill. And I'm only here to lend my support in terms of what is supposed to take place here today.
He adds he's grateful for the initiative, as every citizen has a part to play in curbing the crime monster. Hales is hoping it may positively impact members of the community, specifically the younger generation.
The church plays an important role in all our communities and all our lives. So I want to applaud the church for what they're doing here today. I hope it may touch the hearts and the minds of the young people in Grangeville in particular. And let's live in peace and unity and as brothers and sisters in Christ.
Police presence has been elevated in the area following the increase in reports. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is now transforming the health sector through its Operation Refresh program. The Portland Health Centre was the target of the most recent transformation. Minister Tufton says the goal is to establish this program all across the island.
Yes, you're going to have solar panels, you have water conservation, rainwater harvesting, all of that is intended. And the new program that I announced, Operation Refresh, on Tuesday, is intended to get our health centers like this one. Except the difference, we're going to put in standardized signage. So when you're driving on the road or passing, or if you make a call or somebody drop you or look, they'll see a sign that says the name of the health center, the services that it offers, the time of openings, who may be the senior doctor or nurse at the health center, so that the health center almost becomes a personality in the community. So people kind of see it as part of their own and know that they can go to them and feel a part of it.
A new custus has been appointed to administrate over matters within the parish of Clarendon. Edith Chin was publicly recognized at an installation ceremony under the patronage of the Governor-General, Sir Patrick Allen. More from Trisha Gay Kelly.
Edith Chin is Clarendon's new custus rotolorum. The installation ceremony was supported by members of the judiciary, government ministers, justices of the peace, and outgoing custus Williams Shaguri. Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen highlighted the importance of the role of the custus.
This position is not merely ceremonial, but is crucial in promoting the rule of law, public order, and civic pride. As Mrs. Chin assumes this prestigious office, we encourage her to continue to be vigilant in her duties, ensuring that the values of justice, fairness, and community service are reflected in every decision.
The new custus received the Grand Commission and the magistrate's role to commence her duties.
It is my duty to oversee our justices of the peace, ensuring that justice is not only done, but it is seen to be done across our parish. I pledge to do my best as we contribute to the vision of making Clarendon a thriving parish with a healthy, educated, and creative population that lives in safe and attractive communities. Indeed, again, let us embrace the Clarendon spirit to empower, inspire, collaborate, and thrive.
Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck implored the custus to work closely with justices of the peace to help curb violence among young people, especially school children.
The government will be depending on new custus to encourage and inspire justices of the peace in Clarendon to be peacemakers and advocates of justice in their everyday encounters.
Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
Among the fastest growing urban centers in the English-speaking Caribbean, Montego Bay has been witnessing a proliferation of illegal dumping sites, a phenomenon that's being addressed head-on by the St. James Municipal Corporation, who on May 10 officially launched the Montego Bay Step Up program, which is aimed at enhancing environmental protection and urban public order. Mayor of Montego Bay and Chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation, Councillor Richard Vernon, said the initiative aims to address the pressing issues of solid waste accumulation, damaged infrastructure, unlicensed businesses, and other challenges faced in the area. He added that the program will utilize a multifaceted approach that integrates strategic planning, community engagement, and targeted interventions.
We're going to clean up the space of Montego Bay. We're going to upgrade the infrastructure associated with the step-up approaches. We're going to enforce, and we're not afraid to enforce. We want to ensure that when we're enforcing, our actions are properly justified. persons can understand what we're doing, and the larger Montego Bay can appreciate what we are doing because it is substantiated. So if we tell you that you should not sell at a particular space, we're going to provide the space for you to sell, reducing the excuse.
The National Solid Waste Management Authority, through Western Parks and Markets, WMP Waste Management Limited, has already undertaken activities under the program. On April 14, the entity removed an illegal dump site at the Dome Street and Water Lane intersection in Montego Bay.
Solid Waste has provided us with information to say that we have about 15 illegal dump sites within the city limit. We say we want to have 100% success over the next 6 months. It means all 15 must be eradicated. We don't just eradicate them. We put even within that action a sustainability mechanism. Because I will say to you that the one that we eradicated at Dome Street, it has a surveillance system there. And we are waiting on that brave person to be caught.
Portland residents can now look forward to assisting fellow citizens who live on their busy streets. The municipal corporation partnered with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to develop an addition to the current shelter for the homeless. Trisha Gay Kelly shares this story.
Thousands of Americans live on the streets, and though their reasons are diverse in the absence of a home, the issues they face are often similar. This includes lack of food, lack of health care, and lack of safety. Recently, efforts to assist the unhoused have been gaining momentum, and over in Portland, lives are about to change with a new addition to the Portland Rehabilitation Management Homeless Shelter, increasing its capacity to offer a place of safety. Councillor for the Port Antonio Division, Dexter Rowland, says the shelter will bring great benefit to the parish.
There are a lot of mentally challenged persons on the road, a lot of homeless persons, and this center, I think, can do a great job in getting these people back on track and to get back to their own home.
During their stay, the home will cater to their every basic need. Mayor Paul Thompson indicates that hot meals and warm water baths will be provided for every homeless person brought to the shelter. He says they must be treated with care.
We continue to make a special effort to provide the services needed by our old and less fortunate persons, to enable them to live their lives with the dignity and support they deserve, as persons who in many instances have given valuable service to their country.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has been working to improve the lives of those living on the streets. This is their most recent effort in doing so. Minister Desmond McKenzie says citizens should desist from accusing the government of a lack of focus on the social issues affecting the people.
We have spent in excess of $655 million on social programs alone in the parish of Portland. That kind of money was never spent here before.
Citizens and members of authority came together for the groundbreaking ceremony held on Friday, May 10. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
Stay with us. CVM News at 7 continues after the break.
Really good, but I'm really hungry. Can we get some juicy patties?
Sure we can. We never see a boil up patty like you.
Hey son, you good?
No, Dad, I'm starving. Can we get some juicy patties?
Celebrating moms everywhere. If you save, pay, borrow, invest, or insure with NCB, now it's time to own a part of the NCB Financial Group Limited in its additional public offer. For as little as $6,500 in the general pool, you can own shares in the business built on strong performance and making life better for all Jamaicans. Invest in our future. Invest in your future. Offer opens May 6 and closes May 27. Apply for shares at goipo.jncb.com. Conditions apply.
Yummy is in Western Jamaica to celebrate more of our teachers with the Yummy Champion of Change Awards. First stop, Falmouth All Age in Trelawney.
Yummy Champions of Change Award presented to Principal Kurt Prince. Thank you, Yummy.
Our next stop is Anchovy Primary in the parish of St. James to award Principal Cheryl Grant Mitchell.
I am grateful. The team is just as grateful.
On to the Calvert Technical High in Hanover to see Principal Godfrey Brown.
It's a very pleasant surprise to be getting this recognition and gifts from Yummy.
Thank you, Yummy. Principal at Godfrey Stewart High, Westmoreland, Emily Lawrence Ricketts, was moved to tears. Thank you so much.
Happy Teacher's Day from Yummy Montego Bay.
Welcome back. Time now for Small Biz Big Dreams with Andrew Laidley.
Meet Lemuel Shorter, the mastermind behind Draftsman Elite, an architecture company specializing in building design and 3D modeling for both commercial and residential spaces. Lemuel's passions for architectural drawing has propelled him to carve a niche for himself in the competitive industry.
We handle construction documentation, parish council approval, anything regarding architecture for our client to just come to us with an idea so they can just start constructing their desired space or house when we're finished with them. Floor plans, 3D visualization of the house when it's finished, plumbing plans, all of the plans necessary for our parish council to be like, hey, you can do this.
His journey started in high school, where he discovered his innate talent and love for architectural design.
Okay, well, I had the idea from high school, so I started it really in grade 10, but I just really started taking on clients since I came to college, because when I researched the niche, and the first person I spoke to about this told me that I needed a civil engineering degree to actually do architecture. Then I found out, then I talked to somebody else who is actually an architect. He does it like full time. He was telling me that I don't need it, and I work with him. So anything I don't know, I work with him. He has a civil engineering degree and an associate degree in drafting as well. So anything I don't know, I just speak to him about it, and usually just guides me through the process.
Fueled by a burning desire to turn his passion into a profession, Lemuel took a leap of faith and dived headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship.
I did technical drawing in high school. They gave us two choices, either do building drawing or mechanical drawing. But seeing as I wanted to pursue engineering, I wanted to do mechanical drawing, but the class decided to do building drawing. I started out not liking it, because I'm like, why not do this? And then over time, maybe you can realize it. It's actually fun. So, but it's continuing to laugh at it, and since I can profit from it, so I'm just like, let's move on.
Today, Draftsman Elite boasts a roster of steady clientele who rely on Lemuel's expertise and creativity to bring their architectural visions to life.
When you do a project as an architect, usually you're not going to get a project that's under 100K. And the average salary for an architect working at a company is like 114,000 or so. So if you can land a client every month, you're basically working at architect's salary. And that's minus additional costs like land surveys and site visits and stuff like that. I didn't have clients coming in on a regular when I just started, but they're coming in now. Since I created my Google profile, they started coming in more frequently.
But there are challenges.
It's really getting clients to understand the work that goes into the documentation that they request, and that it takes time, especially when you deal with multiple clients, lot at once. Just getting him to understand that, the process takes time, and if I do rubbish, he will be upset. So, just really time getting him to understand how long things will take.
Beyond the confines of his thriving business, Lemuel finds fulfillment in paying it forward and offering valuable advice to budding entrepreneurs who, like himself, dare to defy conventions and pursue their entrepreneurial dreams.
Find out what you want to do and learn as much about it as you can. I believe there's a lesson in everything, no matter where you see or where you try. Tell yourself there's always a lesson in almost every situation you find yourself in. So just hungry for knowledge, basically.
Now to regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Acting Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defence Force Lieutenant Colonel Carlos Lavelle says exercise trade winds is essentially a dress rehearsal for how the Army will be able to handle their duties for the ICC T20 World Cup. The details from CBC News Barbados.
Some of the assets that you see here deployed today from overseas and from within the region will actually be here for Cricket World Cup, particularly the finals. And as I said, it is a collaborative effort. This is a perfect example of regional and international cooperation through the vehicle of exercise trade winds, and it will test and ensure that the capabilities that we have in Barbados and also the capabilities and resources that are brought to Barbados to augment the Barbados Defence Force and the Barbados Police Service to make sure that the interoperability is at a very high level, and to make sure that when Cricket World Cup begins, that all of the security and disaster response mechanisms are in place, not only in place, but working effectively and efficiently. So far, the Government of Barbados and the headquarters Barbados Defence Force, we are extremely pleased with exercise trade winds and what we've seen in terms of the results coming out of the exercise.
Committee member of the National Advisory Committee on Constitutional Reform, Dr. Terence Farrell, is urging young people to let their voices be heard. Young voters comprise a significant part of the voting population in Trinidad and Tobago. More in this report from TTT News.
So this is the 5th time we are trying as a country to do constitutional reform. And the longer it takes us, the more difficult it is going to get, because the institutions which the Constitution has put in place are very clearly not working for us. So we need to have the change. And that's where your voice is important as young people, because how the society operates, how the politics in our country operate, affects you in all kinds of ways.
Dr. Farrell noted the archaic laws that exist and the need for clearer and pointed legislation.
Written back in 1962, there are a lot of things that have happened between then and now that we now feel it's extremely important to put into a constitution. This should no longer be implied in the constitution. There are some rights that we think that you must enjoy as young people, as adults growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, which should be very clearly put into a new constitution. And you should demand that.
And in international news, our planet is experiencing its most powerful geomagnetic storm in more than 20 years, one which could trigger power and communication blackouts. Al Jazeera reports.
This was the strongest geomagnetic event for more than 20 years, accounting for the vividness and variety of colour, including the unusual pinks and blues, and the spread of the aurorae far from their usual polar latitudes. This was southern England. This was central Germany.
What happened during the last few days, there is a system of very complex sunspots that came together and formed a huge active region of the sun. And these are extremely active in the span of a day or a day and a half. They launched, I believe, something like 7 coronal mass ejections.
Those huge bubbles of gas sent charged ions racing across space and bumping into oxygen and nitrogen atoms in our ionosphere, delivering an extraordinary display and, for the planet's magnetic field, a powerful assault.
What's most concerning now, though, is that we live in the 21st century where we have exponentially increased our reliance on communications and other technologies that are in space and on the ground, where electrical interferences can actually disturb it from this geomagnetic storm, and that's something that we're watching quite closely right now.
And that's it for regional and international news.
Following the break, it's Inspire Jamaica with Carlin Brown.
Today is a special Mother's Day edition. The first women to be on the cut. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. I love the way you have to pretend like you don't know. He's like, oh, okay.
I have a daughter now who likes to watch it. She calls me Tessanchi, not mommy.
Okay.
That's Tessanchi.
Yeah. You know, we aren't okay.
This stuff isn't real.
And this
is real. They need to
go upset me.
This is my show and you will not drop word from me.
I could say things I couldn't necessarily.
Yeah, like, take your time down the line.
You're the nice wife.
Yeah. When I've done something, I've done it. And I don't necessarily want to do it again.
She's built that
Except
house.
for me. Over and over. Over and over again.
The Cut is brought to you by Flo and Guinness.
Welcome back. It's now time for Inspire Jamaica with Carlin Brown.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
A little boy being prodded with a flower in hand could suggest a dress rehearsal for a big role or some big event, but not in this case. It's actually intended for his mother, who says that's the type of love she gets daily from her 3-year-old, who had already given her a small petal tucked behind her ear. This time, though, he laid his gift down, indicating he wanted to get her attention and support to spend a little more time, we found out, with the fish he was enjoying watching with his dad close by before they were called away. Well, that was guilt for the Inspire Jamaica team right there. And so we struck a bargain to allow him that leisure time of 5 minutes more. Little did we know my action would open a total different conversation. The lessons from Melissa Divine Stoddard, who is a social worker, are valuable for the little and for the big people.
For a moment there, you had to stand back and see your child with a stranger, so to speak. Well, I didn't see my child with a stranger. I saw my child in an environment where I could check in with myself and say my child is safe. So once I was able to check in to ensure my child is safe, I could start grounding. If I had someone with me or I thought he was unsafe, there was no way I could check in with myself or check in with nature. So I can take my shoes off now and I wanted to grounding, which is actually a thing. So most times when you feel like exhausted or you feel like the world is on you, especially as a mommy with a child or a parent with a child, you may not have the money to go to a spa or to go do something that's exotic. But you can literally just take your slippers off, take your shoe off, stand on the ground, and literally just ground. And it doesn't have to be some fancy yoga pose. It could just be just grounding.
How does that impact the child now? Because we're talking about the children.
Yes, but if you have a parent who is not grounded or a parent who is frustrated and you're not able to mentally be present with yourself, then you can't be present with your child. And that's where we now have to focus on the mental health. of those who are parenting. So you can't have healthy children without healthy parents.
While not every child will have the total support of mom and dad at the same time all the time, the deliberate action of others can widen the circle to reshape the image of a healthy outlook for all children.
Now, what face is this one? Funny. A funny face? Whoa! Wow! So that's your funny face? That's my heart. Whoa, that's your heart? What? Why your heart looks so small? You have a big heart. Tell me about your heart. That's your heart? Whoa, that's a big heart. What's